Okay, so again, IR 4.0, no, it refers to the fourth industrial revolution, although it is concerned with areas that are not usually classified as industry applications in their own right, such as smart cities. No, the first industrial revolution came with the advent of mechanization, steam power, and water power. So this was followed by the second industrial revolution, which revolved around mass productions and assembly lines using electricity. So the third industrial revolution came with electronics, IT systems, and automation, which led to the fourth industrial revolution that is associated with cyber physical system. So generally speaking, no, Industry 4.0 described the growing trend towards automation and data exchange in technology and processes within the manufacturing industry. Of course, it includes IoT, no, as what we discussed, the IoT, no, the industrial Internet of Things, the cyber physical system, the smart manufacture, smart factories, cloud computing, cognitive computing, artificial intelligence. Again, so this automation create a manufacturing system whereby machines in factories are augmented, no, with wireless connectivity and sensors to monitor and visualize an entire production process and make autonomous decisions. So wireless connectivity in the augmentations of machines will be greatly advanced with the full role of the 5G, no, and this will provide faster response times, allowing for near real-time communications between systems. So I just want to show you a video presentations on the introductions of the Industrial Revolution 4.0.
The fourth industrial revolution has begun, and you have the chance to be part of it. This isn't going to be like before. It's not about the steam that powered our factories in the first revolution, or the mass production model that dominated the second, or even the emergence of computer-driven systems from the third revolution that we're living in today. Industry 4.0 is about connectivity. It's an opportunity to radically change the way industry responds to the needs of society. As previous industrial revolutions were led by innovations in manufacturing processes and systems, the advancement of Industry 4.0 will be driven by a smart, interconnected, pervasive environment. The opportunities for disruption are huge, and those left behind will feel it acutely. There is still space for leaders of this new revolution to emerge, but the race has already started. Understanding what current leaders are doing will help you join them. KPMG formally examined what those trailblazers were doing in their factories and their offices, and it revealed some thought-provoking findings. Our research highlighted a number of areas that current Industry 4.0 leaders are focusing on. Leaders are planning ahead with clear strategic vision, driven by performance and tying investment to proven opportunities for growth, progress, and innovation. They are focused on discovering how smart products and processes can be developed. Integration is key. The major players are moving away from isolated silo-driven development, which limits scope and value of new projects. Instead, they are moving towards large-scale and proactive integration across their enterprise and among their customers, supply base, and products. To ensure they are aware of every possible opportunity Industry 4.0 technology has to offer. Perhaps most importantly, they are not afraid to think big and act bold. This means nurturing innovation, developing disruptive thought processes aimed at devastating the status quo, and looking for opportunity in every element of their value chain, from which products are designed and how they are produced, to who they are sold to and how they are purchased. Your organization may be radically different in the future, with a range of products, services, and processes you can't currently predict. Do you want to join the leaders of Industry 4.0? Can you afford not to? Then our advice is, plan ahead. Fight radical change with integrated radical action. And embrace the fact that it's time for manufacturers to step up and start making smart, bold moves. If you don't, you could be left behind. You have this chance. Let us help you take it.
Okay. So again, the first industrial revolution at school, no, in which the steam engine, no, patented by James Watt, no, in 1969, played as an important role. The one that means the transition from agricultural economy to an industrial one. So the first industrial revolution, in short, was a most revolutionary economic, technological, technological, of course, and the first industrial revolution, in short, was the most revolutionary economic, technological, and social transformation the world had ever seen. So more than 2 centuries later, the fourth industrial revolution is causing an even bigger stir. No? So again, the concept of the fourth industrial revolution was coined in 2016 by Klaus Schwab, no? The founder of the World Economic Forum. So in a black, no, and of course, in this, so that the fourth industrial revolution creates a world in which virtual and a physical system of manufacturing cooperate with each other in a flexible way at the global level. So the fourth industrial revolution, however, is not only about smart and connected machines and systems. Its scope is much wider, no? Occurring simultaneously the waves of further breakthrough in areas ranging from gene sequencing to nanotechnology, from renewable energies to quantum computing. No, it is the fusion of this technology at their interaction across the physical and biological domains that the fourth industrial revolution is fundamentally different from previous revolutions. So how did the fourth industrial revolutions arise? So again, as what we have earlier, no, to analyze how we have reached the fourth industrial revolution, it is a good idea to look back at the previous 3 industrial revolutions, no, how they changed our lives and world when they occurred, no. So again, as I mentioned earlier, the first revolution or first IR, it occurred at the end of the 18th century, no, when steam was harnessed for mechanical production. The invention of the first mechanized loom was a watershed, no. The second industrial revolution, of course, in 1870, mass production powered by electricity was first introduced. And this assembly line was invented, and the industrial sector is speeded up exponentially. So the third generation in 1969, actually, advanced in computing led to machine programming, which opened the door to progressive automation. So based on the books, no, that I have read, no, around 2014 experienced another about turn with the appearance of smart factories and online productions management. So returning to Schwab and his book na The Fourth Industrial Revolution, the German economists pursue what was to come. We are at the beginning actually of a revolution that is fundamentally changing the way we live, work, and relate to another. So in this scales, scope and complexity, what we consider to be the fourth industrial revolution is unlike anything humankind has experienced before. And this is for three reasons about which the expert agrees. Number one, it's speed, scope, and of course, unprecedented impact. Now, in every new technologies, or there are some pros and cons, or there is an effect and advantage, or effects and advantages. So, as for technological revolution, actually, no, all revolutions have benefits and drawbacks, as I mentioned, challenges and opportunities, uncertainties and certainties. No, in the case of the fourth industrial revolution, the advantages are evident: increased productivity, efficiency, and quality in processes. No, greater safety for workers by reducing jobs in dangerous environments, enhanced decision making with database or tools, improve competitiveness by developing customized products that satisfy customer needs and others. So, as far as the drawbacks are concerned, the expert point to many, no, the dizzying speed of change and the need to adapt, no, foregoing cyber risk that forces us to ramp up cybersecurity, no, high dependence on technology, and so-called digital gap, lack of qualified staff and others. So regarding the latter, it is worth remembering that the deep impact of IR 4.0 on employment is one of the biggest challenges for the fourth industrial revolution. At the start of the process, as McKinsey Global Report confirmed that up to 800 million jobs will have disappeared by 2030 as a result of automation. However, this may also be an opportunity naman, no? Because as novel technologies emerge, so will new professions that will create millions of jobs in new sectors. And it is very advantageous to each and everyone, especially as you as MIT students, because the new profession must be aligned, no, with our specialization, and this will be an advantage for us. Now, as I stated earlier, technologies of the fourth industrial revolutions covered artificial intelligence, no, because AI is set to be one of the key technologies in the sweeping transformation of the economy, society, and labor market. Some authors or bloggers or book authors mentioned that it adds other basic aspect of a smart industry, which we have summarized. Now, number one, under the artificial intelligence, we had an Internet of Things. No, the Internet of Things technology, which is designed to establish a connection between the physical and digital worlds, no, has revolutionized numerous sectors. In fact, billions of devices are already interconnected, and more devices are becoming smart. I don't know if you're familiar with cobots. No? Robotics is constantly evolving in the cobots. No? It's especially designed to interact physically with humans in collaborative environments. Will be key to the industry. Among other things, they optimize production and save employees from doing monotonous and dangerous tasks. Another, of course, is the augmented reality and virtual reality. No, technologies that combine the real world and the digital world using computer science enrich the visual experience of both users and consumers by generating immersive experience. Another thing that we need to consider is the big data, no? Because we consider that information is power. The full-blown of fourth industrial revolution will allow us to change data into information. Big data allows massive data management and interpretation for business purposes, which is particularly relevant when devising business strategies or making decisions. And the last one, of course, is the 3D and 4D printing. These days, we have the means of develop prototypes or products for sale quickly, accurately, and economically with 3D and 4D printing, because the technology is becoming increasingly important in design, architecture, engineering, and others. One of the journals, no, that I was read focus on the industrial revolutions in the academe, no, because based on him, or based on the author, ages ago, information used to equal knowledge. No, information was limited and then possible to handle. People can get the information and use it as a competitive advantage. Now, things have become more complex as time changes, because today information comes in all shapes and sizes, and it is gradually growing more and more uncontrollable. No, the coming of millennium kids, no, the Gen Zs, with advanced intelligence and digital ability, has possessed numerous difficulties to instructors. The present Gen Zs report in a dialect that more established generation may not completely understand, and they have their own Geni computerized genre, no, they have their own particular names of they have also their own particular manners of understanding and articulation. Advanced local exploit the tremendous asset of the internet and computerized innovation to make something imaginative, inventive, and expressive in spite of digital security issue. So that the techno addicts and Wi-Fi generation likewise inclined toward an intelligent way to deal with learning, which mixes data through framework, joining by means of the intricate mortgage of pictures, symbols, sounds, video, recreation, activity, diversions, and artificial intelligence. So to sustain learning in this advanced age, no, computerized education and mixed instructional method are as yet necessary to ace the learning and abilities of means of flipped classroom, MOOCs, and chat room. The Industry 4.0, similar to all data advancement, is general, inheres in its own particular sort of model of arranging things. More or less, alleged smart frameworks can, from one viewpoint, duplicate straightforward and tedious schedule as digitized large-scale manufacturing. So for the situation, the digital physical frameworks of Industry 4.0 can be viewed as generation or a similar of two types of sorting out social conduct to duplicate schedule. Then again, the digital physical frameworks can remake adaptable, no, inventive in absolutely new H2M connection in a liquid system with extremely smart and creative types of participation in joint effort. Or now, the Industrial Revolution 4.0 is the stage in the development of knowledge in which the lines between physical, digital, and biological spheres are being blurred. No, each industrial revolution has changed the way we live, as I mentioned, work and interact with each other. In this changing environment, the managers and the employees have to rapidly adapt. They have to be open and prepared for new strategies and to understand the fact that these risks and innovations are unavoidable, because organization cannot compete in this ever-changing environment without proper knowledge and lack of capacity for renewal. Managers have to manage the organization in such manner that the employees will change their vision, ideas, and attitude on the long term. No? Organizations need to see knowledge management as a strategy. This means knowing how to apply knowledge management concept to enhance the performance of the system and processes. So the landscape of educational technology was transformed by the IR 4.0. The rapid changes of knowledge have developed to the new model of education for the future. Speed, fusion in different technologies, breadth and depth, and return to scale makes the 4.4 IR different. So, what will be the impact of IR 4.0 in education? Higher education in the fourth industrial revolution is an obscure, rationalistic, and energizing open door which can possibly change society to improve things. The fourth industrial revolution is fueled by counterfeit consciousness, and it will change the work's environment from assignments, based attributes to the human focused qualities. As a result, of the joining of man in machine, it will diminish the subject separation amongst humanities and sociology, and in addition, science and innovation. Let's say, for example, there is one restaurant in Ipoh, that use celebrity robots, which replace waitress to serve the customers. This shows that the automation of services lessen that use of human services. Beyond technology lies inequality because the acceptability to technology and connectivity are not equal. And many people are displaced because of the loss their jobs. 7 billion world population, but only 3.5 billion have access to connectivity. One professor in a universities, also a blogger, mentioned, Peter Drucker, universities and colleges won't survive because higher education is in deep crisis. The college or the university's campus won't survive as a residential institution. Today's buildings are hopelessly unsuited and totally unneeded. This was a true prediction as an innovative coding universities and colleges established in other countries was launched in 2013, which opens 24/7. There is no teacher, books, or tuition fees. The student works by projects and undergo several internship programs at designated levels. Once they completed the project, they will learn points for them to go for the next level. So in the future, there will be a lot changes in ways of teaching and learning. And we started this time of pandemic. So we consider the hybrid approach, but of course, as I remember that the grade level students undergo the modular approach. So therefore, their parents are the one who will be act as their teachers. So the content of the teaching, rules of lecturers and students, the logic of education systems should be reversed so that it is system that conforms to the learner rather than the learner to the system. And this is the essence of personalization. A lot of challenges of IR 4.0 in education, especially in the Philippines. One author mentioned that he is worried about educators. He said, their readiness in responding to the fourth IR and question if universities and colleges are capable of managing the convergence, fluidity, power shifts, contingency, and of course, the most important is the ethical issues that came along with the fourth IR or Industrial Revolution. He also emphasized that investment in emerging technologies in human connectivity, building digital resilience, as well as institutional capabilities in digital governance and accountability are key strategies for survival. However, it is unclear whether the higher education community are doing enough to adapt. Create an enabling environment for learners. Academics and practitioners to break barriers imagine, innovative, create, and collaborate. Develop a 4.0 ready ecosystem fitting to the institutional context. No? Stimulate greater human connectivity through the exchange of students and staff, which is enabled through global and regional networks. And consortium of higher education institutions incorporate spiritual values, ethics and morality, national identity, and a sense of connection to the community through curriculum delivery and technology transfer, and be mindful of the benefits and risks brought about the fourth industrial revolutions. So, changing the landscape of employee trends or employment trends, where jobs that are available now may be obsolete in the future, but new types of jobs will emerge to meet the demands of the IR 4.0. How about the changing landscape of the technologies? The exponential digital age brings with unfamiliar technologies. Hence, universities and colleges need to consistently anticipate and prepare for changing skills and new knowledge. For the student behaviors and attitude, we need to consider that from digital immigrants to digital natives. And for changing landscape of demands, we may be confronted with unforeseen problems and issues in the future. So, the role of technologies to IM regarding IR 4.0, no, due to the rapid economic and social change, college and universities have to prepare students for jobs that have not yet been created, technologies that have not yet been invented, and problems that we don't yet know will arise. Higher education sector is pressured to put up with the needs of digital communities. Again, we always heard the word industry or our graduate mismatch, because we train our student with this technology for this year, but for the upcoming 2 to 5 years, another new technologies, another programming platform, and so on and so forth. So talagang mayroong mismatch. Okay? So when it comes to enterprise architecture, no? So the first revolution came with the advent of the mechanism steam power and water power, as I mentioned. Now, the fourth industrial revolutions also relates to digital twin technologies, and these digital technologies can create virtual version of real-world installation, process, and application. So this can then be robustly tested to make cost-effective decentralization. Decentralization, as I mentioned. So, or decentralized decisions. This virtual can be treated in the real world and linked via the Internet of Things, allowing for cyber-physical system to communicate and cooperate with each other in human stuff to create a joined-up real-time data exchange and automation process for Industry 4.0 manufacturing. And this automation includes interconnectivity between processes, information transfer, transparency, and technical assistance for decentralized decision. In short, this should allow for digital transformation, and this allow for automated and autonomous manufacturing with joined-up system that can cooperate with each other. So the technology will help solve problems in track processes while also increasing productivity. So Industry 4.0 has already been demonstrated through business models such as offline programming and adaptive control for arc welding, taking the process from product design through simulations and onto the shop floor for production. And there are also examples of business implementing Industry 4.0 in automotive manufacture and a variety of smart factories across the world. Now, the TWI has been exploring in IR 4.0 with particular focus on its application to joining the associated technologies. Digital marketing and manufacturing is a key areas of developing through TW projects and industrial case studies. So now, we have also this one, the business IT alignment, the IT governance, and IT operation. So we have an enterprise information management, business information management, and enterprise application management as what we have here. So we may consider the business performance, the business and operating model, business process management, and so on. Okay. Now, what are the details now? Before that, I just want to give some conclusion or summarize of the application of Industry Revolution 4.0 in the academe or in education sector. So again, as what I stated earlier, to deal with the Industry 4.0 transformation challenges, an organizations need to have a successful strategy. The developing of technologies such as big data and AI will replace most of the processes. So the next generation are more attracted to the use of smartphones and the apps, and new technologies transform our lives by inventing new and dream of things and making them in new and dream of ways. Computerized interruptions are going on each and every day. We have to save our center qualities, moral standards, and Filipinos' way of life as we grasp the fourth industrial revolution advancement. Educational pioneers should abuse the potential open doors carried by the IR 4.0 with much, may mga nagpapa-accept. No? Okay. So, again, we have to save our center qualities, moral standards, and Filipinos' way of life as we grasp the fourth IR. So, advancement among Filipinos, Philippine colleges and universities is a key aggressive factor of digital transformation in IR 4.0. Advanced education pioneers should abuse the potential of open doors carried by the IR 4.0 with much obligation and astuteness, by giving computerized administration to their foundation. Advanced delivered in the fourth IR, if wrongly utilized or incorrectly utilized, it could undoubtedly lead us a drift from our way of life, center qualities, and characters that Filipinos is glad for. In this manner, it is essential for the Philippines to give a code of ethics and responsible conduct to control organizations and people in their investigation of this IR advantage. Now, maybe you've heard the Industry 5.0, because Industry 5.0 is already being spoken about. It involves robots and market machines allowing humans to work better and smarter. So, Ben Staggart, Universal Robots Chief Technology Officer and co-founder, explained that Industrial 4.0 will make the factory a place where creative people can come and work to create a more personalized and human experience for workers and their customer. So by connecting the way in which man and machines work together, it estimates say that Industry 5.0 will man that over 60% of manufacturing, logistics and supply chains, agri-farming, and the mining and oil and gas sectors will employ chief robotics officers by 2025. Imagine, no? So the European Economic Social Committee assert that the proliferation of robotic automation is inevitable. And they targeted, again, as I mentioned, in 2025. Sad. Okay, so